in the company of Paul Merson and Dennis Wise. Paul, first of all, has the title gone?
Yeah, I'd say so. A bit far behind Man United, but if we win today, I fancy we can get second.
So you're looking for second place now?
Yeah,
that's the ambition.
but it's important to win today. If we don't win today, and then I think we can count out second as well then.
Let's have a look at the FA Carling Premiership. A whole host of games to come this afternoon, of course. Everton are at Aston Villa, Derby go to Manchester United, Sunderland to Newcastle, and it's Forest against Southampton. Further up, Tottenham against Wimbledon. And Dennis, Chelsea tucked in there in 6th place at the moment. Despite the fact you've got that FA Cup semi-final coming up, you can't afford to drop points in the league, can you? You've got to concentrate on the main job, which is qualifying for Europe.
Yeah, that's what Ruud wanted to do at the start of this season. His main ambition was to get into Europe. And we've got to make sure that we finish in the 5th spot to get there, and hopefully we get a result today.
I mean, bearing in mind the way the season started at Arsenal, Paul, with all the unrest, have you been surprised, the players, with the success, and it has been that you've had this season?
Yeah, very much so. Pre-season we were very bad, and yeah, we've done very well, and if we can get second and get into the European Cup, that would have been a major feat for Arsenal.
And Chelsea, I mean, annually it seems there's a semi-final to look forward to, but you've got to just push on beyond that this year, haven't you?
Yeah, we know that. We know we can't concentrate on the semi-finals because it's going to be a tough game. We can make sure by getting points in the league at the moment, you know, and securing our place in Europe, and that's what our main ambition, whether we get it through the Cup or through the league, we have to do.
All the games between these two down the years have been played in the top league. Fair number of them too, 119. Recently, Chelsea are unbeaten in the last 4, but they've won only 8 of the last 36 if you stretch the sequence further back, and Arsenal have won 16 of those matches. At the Bridge, Chelsea have won 21 of the 59 played. Arsenal a good return, 19 of the 59, and they've drawn the rest. They couldn't beat Chelsea at Highbury earlier this season, mind you, but what a game. 3-3 it finished, you might recall, with Chelsea storming away in the first half. Should have gone in 2 up, but didn't. We'll show you why in a moment. Dennis Wise could have been more honest about that.
Definitely.
Would you like to be now?
Definitely.
Frank Leboeuf with the first. Vialli got the second for you. This was a great spell for Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yeah, as it happens, Luca thought it was a corner. He was moaning that it was a corner. He never
was looking for a corner there,
yeah.
That's what he was pointing at.
But I told him it was a goal, so he was quite pleased with that.
And then right on half-time, Paul Merson made it 2-1. If he'd gone in 2 down, Paul, you might have struggled to get back into this, I imagine.
Yeah, it would have been hard to get back. Chelsea played brilliant first half, and then they didn't play very well second half, to be fair to them.
Is this in a way almost typical of Chelsea, Dennis? 2 up, 3-2 down.
Yeah, we seem to relax a lot, you know, instead of killing teams off. If we create chances and we play so well in spells, you know, and then we relax because we think it's too easy, and I think that's where we go wrong. We need to kill teams off, or we need to keep it tight at the back.
So
and
how
not
do you
give
change that
away.
when you get into a winning position? How then do you stop giving away good leads?
I think we have to sit back and take it all in instead of just going out to play all the time, you know. I think we need to be more disciplined and sit back and make it tight for the opposition, whereas we didn't do that against Arsenal. We let them slip. I think Merce scored in the 44th minute. You know, it's not a time to concede a goal, you know. We need to sit back, be tight, and we go in at 2-0, and then the games we keep it quiet for 20 minutes.
What about today here, Paul? What can we expect from Arsenal today?
I think it's whoever starts the best, because it's an early morning kick-off. It does make a difference, and I think the game could be won in the first 20-25 minutes. But we'll be tight at the back, and hopefully Dennis and Wright can do their bit up front.
One word, Dennis, Chelsea win?
Yeah, we're confident we can win. Simple as that. You've got to be confident when you're playing at home, and we've got a few young lads, but I'm sure they'll do well.
A few young lads on the commentary bench today as well. In charge of proceedings, Ray Wilkins and Martin Tyler.
Yeah, we look younger at this time of the morning, I think, Richard. Ray, it's a long time since you played for Chelsea, but memories here for you of playing against Arsenal here at the Bridge?
I was never very successful against the Arsenal, Martin, whether it be here or whether it was at Highbury. And we played them once and they absolutely murdered us 3-1, and to rub it in, I think Alan Ball actually sat on the ball later on in the game.
Sat on the ball during the match?
During the match. And I don't think he was too popular with our left full-back, Mr. Ron Harris, at the time. So we could hear Ronnie giving him a few shouts from left back. But no, not too many happy memories against the Arsenal.
Well, let's have a look at the Chelsea side that's trying to make it a happy day for the home fans today. Ruud Gullit has already revealed a belief in rotating his selections, but today's changes all forced upon him, with Sinclair, Wise, Di Matteo and Mark Hughes all suspended. Frank Leboeuf and Eddie Newton not risked. So Paul Parker, after 3 substitute outings, is in from the outset at the back. 18-year-old Jody Morris gets a midfield berth today, as does Paul Hughes, and Gianluca Vialli starts a Premiership game at Stamford Bridge for the first time for 4 months.
Yeah, I think it's pretty evident we'll see young Jody sit in the middle of that midfield section. Clark will go to the centre of the back three. And as Dennis was saying, young Paul Hughes comes in. They are quite young, Chelsea, through that middle section, and they will be playing against a very experienced Arsenal side. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go. But Jody's a very, very good player. I've seen him play on a number of occasions, and he got on the other night for the under-21, so I'm sure he'll be relishing the game.
Arsenal have Steve Bold back to balance the latest loss of Tony Adams. Remy Gard also returning to a back three. Stephen Hughes continues in Paul Merson's slot in midfield. Otherwise, it's arguably Arsene Wenger's strongest side. And for the first time, the 18-year-old from Paris Saint-Germain, Nicolas Anelka, is named amongst the substitutes.
Once again, Martin, it's, you know, you lose Tony Adams and you can bring in Steve Bold. This is what a championship contending side is all about. They really do have a first-class squad. Young Steve Hughes played for the under-21s, did very well the other night. Vieira's very talented. Back comes David Platt. The 2 guys up front are untouchable. They're absolutely wonderful footballers, and I think that could be the key to today. Will it be Fiala and Zola or Bergkamp and Wright?
Well, London pride still very important in the capital, but both clubs knowing that points will today be vital for their ambitions of playing in Europe next season.
I think it's performances as well, Martin, today. Obviously, with Chelsea looking for that semi-final, as some of these lads that have been brought in today, Vialli especially, I think he'll be really looking to put in a performance to hopefully seal a place in the semi-final side.
Yes, Ruud Gullit's been working the psychology, if you read the morning papers, saying Vialli should be 200% raring to go,
that's right.
and a lot to play for. Steve Bold captaining Arsenal today. Both sides closeted overnight in hotels close to Chelsea's ground. I'm sure alarm calls were ringing in the ears of players used to Saturday morning lie-ins, but it is a London derby that should quickly shake any lethargy out of the system. Also a standing leader for Chelsea, with Dennis Wise in our studio. It's Steve Clark.
All right, boys.
Stamford Bridge has certainly been a stronghold for Chelsea this season, but the one Premiership defeat for them here did come against another club from the capital, Wimbledon. Oddly, Arsenal's championship aspirations slipping away at Highbury. Their recent away results have been very impressive. Your football weekend starts early on Sky Sports. Live from Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea against Arsenal. The whole match after the break.
Our live rugby union this afternoon features 2 of the country's big spenders, Bedford against Newcastle, 2 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. It's an early start for us. Live at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea against Arsenal. Match commentators Ray Wilkins and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. Chelsea to kick off. A full house at Stamford Bridge. And Arsenal with not a good record here in recent years. They did win in November '93 when Ian Wright was amongst the scorers. But prior to that, their last league success was when they beat a Chelsea side that included a 17-year-old Ray Wilkins.
Many years ago, Martin, as we said, I think first and foremost, we were just talking slightly earlier, it's vitally important for Chelsea today to keep down the corner kicks and free kicks. Arsenal look absolutely monstrous compared to the size of this young Chelsea side.
Well, there's Steve Bold, of course, and Martin Keown, Vieira, tall man in midfield. Martin Keown, of course, fresh from his recall to the England setup and a first cap for almost 4 years against Mexico last Saturday. A lot of these players have been travelling around, fulfilling international commitments, not all easily. Dan Petrescu was fog-bound, trying to get back from the midweek match for Romania. Here he is on the ball. Didn't arrive back in London till late Thursday night, so this fixture's come particularly quickly for him. Zola, of course, has played twice for Italy since he last played for Chelsea. Vieira's been away with France. It's been a very demanding time for Gianfranco Zola, but as you've probably read, he's been nominated for the PFA Player of the Year. Awards to be announced next weekend. Here's Keown flipping it towards Bergkamp. Vieira. Pitch in pretty good condition for this time of the season.
Yeah, we were down on the pitch early, Martin, before the game, but it is quite blustery down there. It doesn't look too blustery, but there's quite a wind blowing, and it's going to make things quite difficult for the guys. It is nice for Zola to be selected amongst those candidates. I think the enjoyment that he's given us this year has been outstanding.
Yes, and of course he wasn't here from the start of the season either. He only arrived in November. That tells you about the impact that he's made.
It'll be interesting to see his performance, Martin. They're not good travellers, the Italians, and Gianfranco has done a hell of a lot of travelling over the last week.
Well, Paul Parker, how fortune has smiled on him over the last few weeks to suddenly get his career going at a club of this stature. Erland Johnsen playing to the left of Steve Clarke, the centre of the back three for Chelsea. Johnsen also a doubt today. He's been not too well. Wright, who invariably does well at Chelsea's expense and tries something expansive there.
I think that's the great thing about Ian Wright. He'll try something from anywhere, and I actually think he's trying to chip Grodas here, but off balance and having no chance whatsoever. Not from that distance, anyway.
Vialli. Here's Minto. Zola wanting the ball to feet. Paul Hughes is there as well. Jody Morris going in. Vialli. Well, much has been made recently of the fact that when Vialli has played, Chelsea haven't necessarily done particularly well. They've lost 8 in the league this season, and Vialli has started 6 of those, which is a stat that's been brought out because, of course, he hasn't played regularly in Ruud Gullit's starting 11. But he's certainly been amongst the goals when he has been in action. He, Zola and Mark Hughes, is suspended today. Joint Chelsea top scorers, all on the 11 mark.
We just mentioned the name Mark Hughes, Martin. Poor old Vialli hasn't been able to play purely and simply. Mark Hughes has just been absolutely magnificent this season. Had a season and a half as Mark Hughes, and it's been very difficult for Gianluca Vialli to actually get a game.
Caught late by Paul Hughes, and the referee today, Roger Dilks, in his last season in charge at the top level. He's retiring, but he's producing the card here because he spotted the infringement as Vieira played the ball forward. Paul Hughes kept on going.
I don't think there was anything malicious in that, Martin. I think Paul Hughes is a little bit unfortunate to be booked there.
Paul Hughes, whose time at Chelsea has been blighted by injuries, a number of them to do with simply growing pains, used to be called. The old shin splint problem it is now referred to. It's happened to a number of promising youngsters at crucial stages of their careers, but Hughes has overcome his difficulties. Chelsea have recognised his potential. He's had quite a few first-team games recently. There's another opportunity for him today in this very youthful Chelsea midfield. Down goes Vialli. Play on, says referee Dilks. Minto controlling the ball adroitly as it dropped over his shoulder. There are a number of these early kickoffs to come, most notably Manchester United against Liverpool in 2 weeks' time. Sometimes the switch owes something to police regulations, but it's usually the alteration at the request of the clubs to help their commitments. Certainly in the case of Manchester United and Liverpool, with Europe very much on their minds. Arsene Wenger has had plenty to say on the subject of the Premiership, and that he believes the fixtures should be completed on the allotted final Sunday, and that there shouldn't be an extension, whatever the circumstances that Manchester United are suggesting to the Premiership. We should have a word on what will be decided, or what maybe has been decided already but not made public, within a day or two.
I can understand Arsene Wenger's point of view, actually, Martin, but I've got to say, if we can possibly help any side, whether it be Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham, anybody, to win a European Championship, then I think we should be doing our utmost to make sure our Premiership is seen in the best light.
I certainly don't think we've heard the last of that particular debate.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. But wouldn't it be great if we could actually be #1 in Europe again? It would be fantastic if Man U could win that. Liverpool also could win their European Championship, and then we'd actually see our teams seen throughout the world in a far better light.
I think the point the Arsenal manager is making is not against Manchester United, it's against changing the system this late on. Everybody started knowing the regulations, and it would be hoped for that the managers might have an input into the way the season is scheduled next season. David Seaman, who didn't link up with England last week because he's only just recovered full fitness. Of course, he did play for Arsenal rather rustily, it has to be said, against Liverpool. He's missed a lot of games this season. Bergkamp hoping it will drop his way. From Keown's ball over the top, and then Keown finding the ball coming back his way, down on Vialli, and he will get a free kick this time. Proximity there, Bold clearly suggesting that Vialli backed in, but there was after that maybe also suggestion that Vialli had some arms wrapped around him.
I think there was arms wrapped everywhere there. I think Vialli had a little go with Steve Bold as well. I think we've got two very, very experienced professionals there, Martin, having a little tussle, and it's good for the game. It gives a little bit to the game.
Now the two of them again. Winterburn, right. Parker on him quickly. There's David Platt. Paul Parker there again. Zola, slipping Keown. Needs some help to the right. Couldn't get beyond Vieira. But Arsenal have given it away. Morris. Jody Morris used to be a ball boy here when he was 9. He doesn't look much bigger than he must have been then. Bergkamp.
It almost looks a mismatch in playing up against Vieira, doesn't it, the size of Vieira, but I can assure the viewers at home that Jody really does have a lot of potential. He's a super young footballer.
Burley. On from Zola to Vieira. Paul Hughes keeping pace with the move in the centre for Chelsea. Here's Petrescu. Well, the flag went up. whether there might have been an offside decision given, but it's, I think, going to be a goal kick.
I think it was a wicked deflection as well. Petrescu does exceptionally well. Beautiful dummy. There's a deflection off Vialli, who was in an offside position, Martin.
Well, Chelsea concerned about the fitness of Dan Petrescu with all the travelling that he's had, but he was looking fit and lively then.
He's actually tailor-made to play this wing-back position, Martin, is Dan Petrescu. He's exceptional going forward, and he really has that canny mind to cover in defence as well, so he really is tailor-made.
Now, Vieira going in on Burley in such a way that Paul Hughes just had a word with the referee to say, well, hang on, you've just booked me. Why doesn't Vieira get booked for this?
Well, it was a very similar challenge, wasn't it? I think that's what Paul was trying to say.
Vieira is balanced, I think, on 32 disciplinary points. He's had problems with the referees in his first season in England, largely through missed-time tackles. Oh, it's over Keown. Zola! Well, you're surprised when he misses. It was a difficult ball to strike, but within the range of his abilities.
I think this is a sitter for someone like Zola, Martin. I've got to say, it's a beautiful ball in from Craig Burley. And for that young chappie there, that is a goal. He's got goal written all over that. He pulled off the defender, fantastic. And Dave Seaman wouldn't actually have seen it had it gone under the crossbar, but I would think Zola would be very disappointed he hasn't scored there.
Could almost see the agitation of Martin Keown's features, knowing that it was Zola meeting the ball as it dropped, but Arsenal were let off. Craig Burley, who provided the cross, coming into this game in a very confident vein. He's played a couple of games for Scotland, who of course are doing so well in their World Cup qualifying group. And he's got a chance, and memory of an FA Cup semi-final a year ago when he was really guilty of an error that cost Chelsea so much, and he'd love to have the opportunity next weekend to do the right thing by the club.
I'm sure he would, Martin, and at the time of that game against Man U, he was in a very, very rich vein of form as well.
It's a rather weak kick from Brodorst. Platt got to it but couldn't control it. Here's Johnson. Right. And Clark just giving the depth there behind Parker. And even Ian Wright's change of pace couldn't provide a way through. Here's Remy Gard, part of the considerable French influence on the Arsenal setup these days. Stephen Hughes, brimming with promise. And as Ray was saying, a member of England's under-21 team last Tuesday.
Yeah, it is good to see so many of these young players coming through and playing with so much composure, Martin. I think it's purely and simply the fact that they're playing in front of these massive crowds week in, week out, no matter where they travel. They're having to play and they're having to grow up very quickly. And once again, Steve Hughes is a very mature young man at what is he, 19, 20 years
20,
of age?
yeah.
So it's good for him.
It's turning out to be a major battle though between two of the old hands, Bold and Vialli. It's led to a free kick for Steve Bold this time. Bergkamp, who played one game for Holland last Saturday but didn't go with the Dutch team to Turkey because of his fear of flying. And of course Holland lost that international on Wednesday. The benefit for Arsenal is that they've had Bergkamp all week to prepare for this game. Comes off Petrescu and Arsenal have a corner, almost 15 minutes gone.
This is what we were talking about earlier, Martin. I think Chelsea have really got to pick up and mark well from these set pieces, because Arsenal do look considerably taller and stronger in this sort of area.
Well, Johnson, who's perhaps their best defender in the air, has picked out Steve Bold to deal with. Burley's going with Keown, the two number 14s.
Vieira's gone in on the goalkeeper to eliminate him.
And Vieira making a run off that position towards the near post. The ball sticking with him. It's back with Bergkamp. Might try a shot here. Oh, what a shot it was. Coming in on his favourite right foot.
He's a very gifted player, Martin, isn't he? Very, very quick, coming in on his right side. It's a tremendous shot. Brodas does very well in actual fact to get across the goal and push it out for another team.
He's arrowing inside the goalkeeper's right-hand post. Another corner for Arsenal. Again, entrusted to Bergkamp. Now comes the goalkeeper, doesn't get there. Jonsson did. Some help on hand.
It was a good call of yours there, Martin. 1-0 to Jonsson over Steve Bold.
Early days. And Clark connected cleanly with that clearance. Vieira back deep to steer Arsenal going forward again, and Hughes cut off by Petrescu. Yes, London derby really with a foreign flavour. And of course, a match-up between the managers, Ruud Gullit and Arsene Wenger, bringing their European knowledge into the English game. Kia, well met by Clark, who's having a terrific season too. Platt, making sure it didn't get to Burley to start with. Lee Dixon losing out to the determination of only Jody Morris. Zola. It looks like Morris's older brother. Jonsson. Zola and Vialli. You know, that was a deliberate flick. Sometimes when it's a sheer miscontrol, it looks artistic enough, and he gets the benefit of the doubt that other players might not.
I thought it was a good little touch from him, actually, Martin.
I'll bow to your judgment.
No,
Ray,
I thought it was, but unfortunately they weren't on the same wavelength for once. I've been impressed with young Jody. He started off very well. It's not an easy game for him to come into, and he's looking for the ball all the time.
And a shrug, Jonsson aside. Roger Dilks indicating to the Norwegian defender that play could have gone on. Wasn't a foul. Guard with a little bit of time on the ball and a chance perhaps to pick a pass. Kia. Chelsea have scored in every home game this season, and in fact have not failed to find the net at Stamford Bridge for getting on for 18 months now, but it's not their strongest side today. Arsenal with a more mature look to their personnel. Bold on the right, emphasising that point rather. Chelsea have had problems really from the early weeks of the season with their goalkeepers. Dimitri Karin was carried off at Sheffield Wednesday in September, hasn't been seen since. Kevin Hitchcock is on the injured list as well, so the decision to take Grodås initially on loan and then to sign him on a permanent contract has looked to be quite a wise one, the Norwegian number one. And of course, Craig Forrest of Canada and Ipswich is technically here on loan, although he's not in the country at the moment. He's away with the World Cup qualifiers. Here's Vialli. It's a good idea to take the shot early, and Seaman just kept it out. It was a very difficult save, very clever strike from the Italian.
It was a brilliant run, Martin, and Steve Clark picks him out fantastically well. He looked slightly offside when receiving the ball, but wasn't. And I think the earliness of the shot had Dave Seaman scrambling across the goal. Got his strongest side, his left foot, but a super effort from Vialli.
Seaman got to it. Chelsea have a corner. Well, it's miscued by Guard back to Zola. Well, you talk about the difficulty of Chelsea having to defend in the air. Of course, it's going to be hard for them to win the headers in the Arsenal penalty area as well. And I think it was deliberate when Zola took the initial corner that he fired it in low. Here's Scott Minto. Platt, one of a posse of Arsenal players around Minto. The two Hugheses in direct confrontation there. Paul Hughes pressing Stephen. And that little spell of play rousing the crowd, who perhaps are finding it hard to get going with the start themselves. Good pressure though by the Chelsea Hughes.
I think supporters actually like seeing that as much as a shot sometimes, Martin, when they see their side giving what they consider 150% to win the ball back. I think they do get well fired up by that sort of attitude.
Bergkamp. Morris. It's in the Chelsea net. Ian Wright has struck.
Yeah, that man Bergkamp as well. There was a breakdown between young Jody and Gianfranco Zola. But Bergkamp had seen the opening already. No one was picking Ian Wright up. And there he is in the back of the net. Fantastic finish from Ian Wright. Just breaks free. Dan Petrescu possibly a little bit too wide on the right-hand side. And as the ball slipped in between him and Parker, there was that man Ian Wright to give the Arsenal a 1-0.
27 for the season, but of course Wright is also on countdown for the club record. That's 171. He needs another 8 to overtake Cliff Bastin and set the new landmark. It's something that occupies him throughout all his waking hours, Ian Wright. He'd love to do it this season. Arsenal have 6 games left, including today.
And I'm sure he'll do it, Martin, as well. He's been a marvellous servant to Arsenal, as Ian Wright. He's a super player. Well, we must give full credit, I think, to Dennis Bergkamp there. Bergkamp and Zola, 2 players that not only score goals, but when given the opportunity, their creative instincts are quite magnificent. And he saw the pass so early, and it was a great ball inside Petrescu and Paul Parker. But the feud continues. Steve Bold and Vialli. Very interesting morning.
Well, Zola was absolutely livid when the goal happened. I just looked to him back on the halfway line. He was punching the ground in annoyance that Chelsea had given the ball away. But here's an opportunity to hit back straight away. Roger Dilks insisting that the wall is back. And here goes Zola. And there's Seaman, but he can't hold it. Still alive for Paul Hughes and Chelsea. Morris. Vialli trying to glance it on for Erling Jonsson. Might have struck his arm as it dropped. Vieira in tenaciously, and Arsenal needed some of that tenacity there. It's another Bergkamp pass towards Wright. It's made the Clark scuttle, and Wright going with a foot up. That'll be dangerous play, but it looked as though Ian Wright was going for the ball. And Clark keeping pace with him. Had to go for it.
I think Ian was always going to go for that, but it is unfortunate he's caught Steve in the face. But I think he was going for the ball.
Well, let's look back at the Seaman save from Zola.
Not the best Arsenal wall you'll ever see, Martin, it has to be said, but the ball's on Dave's side, and you'd expect him to be to keep in hold of that, Dave Seaman, the sort of class act that he is. But it's a wonderful free kick once again from the diminutive Zola.
Well, Chelsea have had Seaman diving at full stretch to both sides. Vialli claiming he was impeded off the ball by Guard. Even going back to his Crystal Palace days, Ian Wright had a liking for playing against Chelsea. And that is Bergkamp being taken down by Jonsson, who it seems will leave Chelsea at the end of the season to link up with the very successful Norwegian club Rosenborg. Winterburn. Both these sides meticulous in their planning for a morning kickoff as to what time the players should be up. But both stayed very locally. Most unusual for Chelsea to go away to a hotel the night before a home game. And of course they will have their own hotel within the stadium within a matter of months. Paul Hughes, that's too long for Craig Burley.
It's very nice to see once again a magnificent Stamford Bridge, Martin, isn't it? This place is going to be absolutely magnificent when it's finished. It really does look superb. And when full up, the atmosphere is absolutely tremendous, as it is today.
And unlike in your days, Ray, the atmosphere is going to be really on top of the players and intimidating the opposition.
Yeah, quite, which will be a football stadium. And the atmosphere has always been good here at Stamford Bridge. But
it's Bergkamp and right again. Rodos actually read that very well, not just to get to it, but to realise there was just enough pace on the ball so that he could do the easier thing and pick the ball up within the penalty area.
Yeah, quite. That's almost a telepathic understanding they've got, Bergkamp and Wright. Some of the passes that he's laying through for him, Wright, are quite exceptional. That one just had a couple of yards extra pace on it.
Vialli gets to it. And Seaman has to go down again because once more, quick feet, instant shot, needing the save from Vialli.
You hit it right on the head there, Martin. Quick feet, that's what it's all about. Vialli gets the shot in early. I think he's taking Dave a little bit by surprise there, and it's he gets down and makes a very good save.
Seaman having to show his international capabilities here. Morris, and that's a straightforward catch, and the pass from David Seaman drops beautifully for Bergkamp. Wright's herring into the centre, whether Bergkamp knows he's there, he must do now, but he hasn't tried to find him.
He knew he was there, Martin. What brilliant goalkeeping from Dave Seaman. Took the ball at the highest point, great half volley onto Dennis Bergkamp, who with a majestic first touch on his head, it has to be said, look at this touch, boom, right in his path. He did see him, right? I think he saw him, but he felt, no, I've run 70 yards, I'm going to have a shot.
The direct route for Arsenal. Right. Making Winterburn work a bit, and Petrescu was on him in a flash, and Chelsea get the throw. A game that's really got brisk now after a tentative opening 10 minutes, in which you did feel that the players, although they do train in the mornings, of course, are finding it a bit unusual to play at this time. But they've got to grips with the proceedings now. And there's been plenty of goalmouth action. Johnson just over Platt, but not behind Remy Gard. And Platt berating his front men for not moving into that area where he put the ball. Always two sides to every argument.
Yeah, I think David was right. I think one of the forward players should have been across into that channel, but then David had enough time to get on that ball and hold on to that. If he didn't see anyone there, it was pretty aimless actually putting it in.
Clark. And he saw where Minto was running. Dixon wants to see this off, and he's been round long enough to be able to do it. I can't really remember who were the Arsenal fullbacks before Dixon and Winterburn. They've been there for so long.
They have, and what servants they've been as well.
Maybe still back fit with Pat Rice and Sammy Nelson, I suppose.
I think that's the ones I can remember, yeah.
Pat Rice, of course, here today. There is the aforementioned Mr. Rice.
Looking very dapper in his shades, isn't he?
Modern day management, Ray.
Is that what it is?
The Ron Atkinson set the style, I think.
One of many.
Here's Vieira. We're getting information, of course, from those with the ability to consider the situation a bit more than us, Ray, that we should mention Viv Anderson and Kenny Sansom.
Yes, of course.
Fullbacks. How could we forget?
How could we? And apologies to both. They were both terrific servants, not only for the Arsenal, but for England as well, of course. Kenny Sansom, possibly the best left-back I had the pleasure to play with.
That's quite a compliment. Here we are with half an hour gone, and here's Burley. Morris. Burley there, but Bergkamp strangely and unusually has given it away when the ball had broken Arsenal's way.
I think that's a sign of Patrick Vieira that a lot of people don't talk about, but he really is a good ball winner. Not only is he a super footballer, but my word, can he win a tackle, and he came out of that the strongest. There's about 5 or 6 players going for that.
Johnson has given it away almost. Well done, Frodos. One Norwegian to bail out the other. Here's Parker. Burley. Parker again. Ruud Gullit, who doesn't show a lot of emotion, is standing in front of the Chelsea bench now. I think provoked into that by the near catastrophe a moment or two ago. Morris. Keown's header might be collected here by Burley, or he can choose to let it run for the throw. Well, of course, on Sunday, first major cup final of the season, the Coca-Cola final. Leicester and Middlesbrough have done so well to reach Wembley, and it's hard to pick a winner between the two. You'll see what happens on Sky Sports 3. We start at 1. Right, here's Stephen Hughes. Beaten away by Grodos. Fierce shot from the midfield player as Arsenal link up well again. Vieira from very long range. But Stephen Hughes naturally left-sided and working the ball well where Arsenal then, Ray.
Brilliant touch from Ian Wright, brilliant touch from the throw-in, and Steve going through on his left foot, Stephen Hughes. A thunderous shot there, which Grodos did very well to keep out. The game really hasn't been a classic, Martin, but what we have seen, we've seen some wonderful pieces of individual ability. The first touch of the likes of Bergkamp, Vieira, Zola have really been absolutely first class.
And it's a Chelsea throw. Arsenal leading the way with attempts at goal. Level on target, but the top of your picture tells you what really matters in terms of the match. Clark, Chelsea trying to come from behind, and the referee again seeing the challenge as the ball was played. Vieira the culprit again.
He did very well, Steve Clark. They brushed off a very strong challenge from Ian Wright, and just as he was about to make, well, he actually had played the ball, and Vieira's taken him late.
Here's Paul Hughes. Had 2 to try and pick out there, and Petrescu annoyed with Zola for going for it. If he'd let it run, Petrescu was in.
I don't know whether he actually saw him, Martin, but Petrescu was in on goal, but it was a little bit unfortunate. I've never seen Petrescu get like that, actually.
Headed back by Winterburn.
He always seems such a mild-mannered sort of guy, Martin, doesn't he?
There's Bergkamp striding forward with authority for Arsenal. Vieira likewise. It's behind Wright, who was looking to just touch it for Bergkamp's shot. Bergkamp wasn't where Wright thought he was, and I think that was Bergkamp's mistake.
I think that was their first misunderstanding of the match, Martin. It was a great run from Vieira as Bergkamp broke forward. Makes a great run to the outside of him. Good ball. This is a good ball back in, actually. Had Ian not touched that, I think Bergkamp was in for a shot.
Well, there was no misunderstanding on the goal from Bergkamp's pass.
None whatsoever, and it was a classic finish from Ian Wright as well, under the body of Brodas. And how many times have we seen him do that same finish?
27, what's that, one behind Robbie Fowler, who one assumes will be in action for Liverpool tomorrow. They play Coventry. Vieira. Guard. Johnson. Just under 10 minutes to go to half-time. There to help Bold. Burley. Truscu looking to get forward at every opportunity. And again, cursing his misfortune.
He's covered very, very well, Brodas, Martin, on several occasions. He really has swept around the back three very well, and that was another superb piece of anticipation. Ian Wright have made a fantastic run, and Brodas covered very well indeed.
Morris. Bialy. Miskick by Guard. Zola. Another free kick against Vieira. And it might just be about the extent of Zola's range here. See how far it is outside of the penalty area. Seaman hasn't set a wall, and Zola doesn't go for goal. Hughes. Bialy had Guard defending well at his back. Winterburn. Well, you can see the desire from Chelsea. It's what's in the repertoire in this much-changed side as to whether they can undermine Arsenal, who have got the crucial first goal here. Morris. Stephen Hughes saw that. It's beautifully dropped by Bergkamp for Dixon. Ian Wright through the centre. Others a bit slow making up ground from midfield for Arsenal. Platt. Hughes. Bergkamp. Dixon. Chelsea have regrouped. Hughes. Winterburn coming infield of Stephen Hughes. Now Bold. Arsenal proclaiming that they're out of the championship race, but second place counts for so much in terms of a place in a qualifying round for the Champions League for next season. Petrovsky, and Bialy's well offside this time. Might be asking too much from Arsenal's point of view for both Manchester United and Liverpool to falter, but maybe one of them will.
There's still a long, long way to go, Martin. I'm sure if the Arsenal keep putting in these very professional, that was very close as well, keep putting these very professional performances, then, you know, everybody's still in with the chance. The Arsenal's still in with the chance. Erland Johnsen seems to be struggling a touch, eh?
I just wonder whether that's an injury he's picked up today, or whether it's... He's had watering in the eyes with this bug that's afflicted him over the past few days. Clark, coolly done. From Chelsea's point of view, well, there are 3 UEFA Cup qualifying places for high league finishes. And Chelsea will want to get one of those. They can't put all their eggs in that FA Cup basket with the difficulties of Wimbledon to try and overcome in next weekend's semi-final, and then of course the final itself if they do that. Platt.
I think they owe it to themselves after a super season that they've had, Martin, and the entertainment that they've given everybody to really go for a league place and get into Europe as well.
It was very nearly a killer ball from Paul Hughes. It was a terrific run from Burley. And that's Gard for Bergkamp. It's a second for Arsenal, is it? No. Bergkamp wanted to go round the goalkeeper, and Rodos didn't panic and snatched it from the Dutchman's toe.
My word, he did do well. It's a beautiful run again from Bergkamp, picking it up. I thought he was just going to toe it underneath him there. Rodas did exceptionally well to stay on his feet, and he made it look very easy. I think that they scored there, Martin, it might have been very, very difficult for Chelsea to claw themselves back into this.
Hughes for Arsenal. Vieira. Platt. Bold prepared to go on, and he might get the ball here. He does. And he was quite sure what the best option was, but wants to have it again. Has had some fairly robust attention himself. He's now going to get a ticking off on that tangle with Remy Gard.
Yeah, I think Gard does exceptionally well to get in front of Vialli there. He's read the situation very well. Vialli wanting the ball to roll into him instead of coming off and facing up to the ball. He made a bit of a lunge at the finish, nothing too serious.
Winterberg. It was a switchback of a fixture between the two at Highbury in September that finished 3-3. Chelsea led 2-0 and then needed a last-minute equaliser from Dennis Wise. Nice catching practice for Seaman. Dixon. Mears right. Get it forward quickly, and he's done that. Bergkamp's header right in behind Clark, who's repositioned. Right ends up on his backside, and Arsenal and Arsene Wenger appeal for a penalty, which they don't get. Morris to Petrescu for Chelsea. And Remy Gard's done some good defending, and he was called upon again there. What did you make of that with Ian Wright?
Well, I thought Ian was backing in all the way. I think it was 6 to 1 and a half, dozen of the other, but I thought the interplay once again from Bergkamp and Wright was fantastic. It was a hopeful ball forward from David Platt. Bergkamp doing exceptionally well.
Zola. Morris. Now Paul Hughes. Again, it was Gard who was the guard, if you like, for Arsenal.
I think one of the differences in the two strike patterns, Martin, is that Vialli and Zola come off and face up to the ball the majority of the time, whereas Ian Wright and Bergkamp can both go beyond defenders, and they've both got electrifying pace, and it makes it very hard for defenders to play.
That's a confident flick from Wright, and Vieira looking to force his way through the centre. The odds were against him initially. He's still pressing on, and then Clark has to retrieve the situation again.
Here we see it once again, that Bergkamp and Wright interchange there. Ian backing in, and I think eventually his balance just overcomes him and away he goes. I didn't think it was a penalty.
Bergkamp possibly also starting that by backing in. That's what Clark indicated, but the Dutchman believes that he was being dragged down in the end, which he was by Clark.
Dennis's left arm was actually wrapped around Steve Clark as well, Martin, and I think Roger Dukes is right. It is 6 of one and half a dozen of the other half the time.
It's been an unusual half, really. There hasn't always been a flow to the football. There's a gusty wind here in southwest London today. It makes the longer passing difficult, but I must say there have been a lot of incidents of high order, including the goal from Ian Wright. Although Chelsea were culpable with Zola and Morris losing possession to Bergkamp, who picked out Wright, who did what comes naturally with suitable celebration, and Arsenal still complaining that they might have had one, maybe two penalties, but I think we rule with the referee. And at half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1.
There's live snooker on Sky Sports 3 today at 2 o'clock. First session of the British Open final, featuring inevitably Stephen Hendry and Mark Williams. That's Sky Sports 3 at 2 o'clock today. Right now, Stamford Bridge, live football here on 1, features Chelsea and Arsenal. Half-time, the Gunners 1 to the good, courtesy of Ian Wright. 7 attempts on target with 3, 4, just 4 for Chelsea, but they've hit the target 3 times. One early booking, Paul Hughes of Chelsea. Action areas. Where the ball's been, 71% of the time in that middle third. 53% of the possession for Chelsea, who trail at half-time by a goal to 0. Paul Merson and Dennis Wise are our guests here. Is it this morning still? Just after. This afternoon. We were talking about Arsenal powering on for second place before the start, Paul. This will do you very nicely, won't it?
Yeah, the lads started very well and deserve to be in front. I think Chelsea have had one chance with Zola's volley, but bar that, Arsenal have dominated the whole match.
And you'd have put your house on Ian Wright scoring with the opportunity, wouldn't you?
I would have a couple of years ago, yeah. Yeah, I would. He's brilliant one-on-one.
Line. I think I was the only one laughing now. I was the only one that got that, wasn't I? 1-0, Ian Wright. But you wouldn't be happy with the defending, Dennis, presumably?
No, I think they got caught napping a little bit there. I think it's a great ball by Dennis, though, and Wright, he pulled off. I think there's a little bit of sleep, and a bit disappointed with that goal. I thought it was doing okay, you know.
It might have been worse. Could have been 2 right on half-time, when again you fell asleep and Dennis Bergkamp got in.
Yeah, I think we tried to hold the line. Paul Parker tried to hold the line, and he's just timed it lovely.
And you're screaming here, Paul, lift it now. Just
Foden done extremely well to stay on his seat. I think that's what put him off. And but we've had some chances, which is good. You know, we've had 3 chances on target, and
we've got a couple of them here.
Second half.
Zola early on. But were you ever concerned, Paul, as we see this? Were you ever concerned in this 45 that Chelsea would find the breakthrough?
Here I was surprised. This is one that you would put your house on Zola to at least hit the target, and he's hit that well. But bar that, you know, the other ones were shots just outside the box, and David saved them quite well. But
there's one from Vialli as well, which David Seaman did have trouble getting down to, and once or twice he's appeared to be.
Yeah, he's hit it
late
early.
Getting down, hasn't he?
Vialli's hit it early, which is the important thing for the forward to do. It doesn't let the keeper have much time to set, and as he's hit it, I think Dave's coming backwards. No, wrong one. Yeah, that's the other one.
Same outcome. He just got his hand on it.
Yeah, it was the same outcome. But yeah, Vialli's. I think the back 3 have done brilliant. Back 5. I think we've been very comfortable, and
you've looked more businesslike, I would have to say, than Chelsea in that.
Yeah, I think we look like the home team. They've got a big game next Sunday, and it seems to be at the back of their mind at the moment, Chelsea.
Yes.
You can't take nothing away from Arsenal.
Dennis?
No, I don't think it is that way. I think they've just played well, Arsenal. Simple as that, really. And we can't think about a game next week. We've got a game today, and we've got to qualify for Europe.
It's easy to say, but I think that watching what we've seen so far, you get the impression that there's a semi-final on the players' minds here, don't you?
Yeah, but we've got young lads out there as well, you know, which is another thing. We've got 6 players missing today, which don't help at all. And we have got some young lads out there, and they're tasting their good side, Arsenal. So obviously it's going to be difficult. But
maybe feeling the rough edge of Ruud Gullit's tongue right now as Chelsea trail here at the Bridge by a goal to 0. Just Wimbledon have won here this season. Arsenal looking to do that, and are very comfortable at the moment. Half-time, they lead by a goal to 0 at Stamford Bridge. Reminder tomorrow with the Coca-Cola Cup final at Wembley. That's our live football on Sunday. When we come back, the whole of the second half here at the Bridge between Chelsea and Arsenal. On Sky Sports 1 this evening, the fourth one-day international between South Africa and Australia. That's at 5:30 this evening on Sky Sports 1, international cricket. At the Bridge right now, Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. Ian Wright, the goal scorer. And of course he enjoyed the goal, as he always does. Paul Merson?
Yeah,
but not quite the celebration you expected. Had he not been rehearsing another one this week?
Yeah, I was in the dressing room before the game. He said he was going to do Elvis. But I said he was copying Lee Sharp.
Maybe
so
he was there.
Left there.
Maybe that's his Elvis.
It's not a very good one, is it? It might be the Elvis in Colchester one.
He's not too unhappy. Ian Wright's goal separates these two teams at the moment. Chelsea 1 down. As we rejoin our match commentators here, Ray Wilkins and Martin Tyler.
And we have news of 2 changes for Chelsea. Andy Myers is coming on for Erland Johnsen, and it's a debut for number 28, 22-year-old Danny Granville, who was signed just before the transfer deadline from Cambridge United. So it's a great occasion for him, and actually Granville was born in Islington, and yes, you guessed it, grew up supporting Arsenal. His first taste of the Premiership is against Arsenal, and he comes on with Chelsea trailing by a goal to 0. He's a versatile player. He's played on the left-hand side, which may be where he's going to go with Scott Minto redeployed. We shall see. Ray can have a look at that in the opening minutes of the second half. Arsenal have looked particularly effective on the break with the thrust of Bergkamp, the quality in his passing, the pace of Ian Wright. And Chelsea, who've scored in every one of the last 34 games they've played here at Stamford Bridge, need a goal. Morris. Let's get a word on those substitutions from Nick Collins.
Martin, Paul Parker's substitution was purely for tactical reasons, but Erland Johnsen is suffering from blurred vision, and he's slightly exacerbated his lower back problem. That's why he's come off, so not a good way to celebrate his 30th birthday.
He was trying to keep that quiet, Nick, from his teammates, by the way. You've just blown the gaff.
Yeah, getting back to the Chelsea side, it's Craig Burley that's actually gone back into the back three, playing on the right-hand side, Steve Clarke in the middle, and Andy Myers on the left. Scott Minto, as you quite rightly stated, Martin, has come inside, allowing Danny Granville to play on that left wing-back situation.
Burley. Well, they do have a big squad, Chelsea, and they've had goals from 17 different players this season. And the bounce beat Ian Wright in the end. And had he taken the ball, I think Steve Clarke was just caught betwixt and between.
It was another great run from Ian Wright. You're quite right, stated, Martin, that had he taken control of that, that could have been very dicey for Chelsea.
Vialli to Morris. Myers galloping up on the outside. Granville back for Morris. So, with the departure of 30-year-old Erland Johnsen, the Chelsea average age going down even more. Had a great tradition here for giving young players their opportunities, even back to the time when they won their only championship in 1955. Ted Drake was the manager. Drake's Ducklings, they used to call them, the youngsters then. That was even before the Busby Babes. I wonder whether he'd remember those days. Bergkamp, and here's Winterburn. too many galloping up in support, and Nigel Winterburn prepared to have a crack from optimistic angle and range.
Yeah, it certainly was, Martin, but he did exceptionally well, Nigel, to get up there with Dennis Bergkamp. And I think he'd run out of legs as well, but it wasn't a bad effort. Enough Grodas thinking about it.
Arsenal so often seem to be the main London challengers for the Championship, as they have, as it's turned out, been this season. That's not to devalue the efforts of Chelsea or indeed Wimbledon. We still have plenty of games to play. So Zola has a free kick. Granville joining the pack of players in the centre in Chelsea blue. A height advantage for Arsenal again, epitomised by Vieira. Fortunately for Dan Petrescu, who's in a great position here to provide the sort of cross that Chelsea need. Great header by Lee Dixon. He's paid a price for it. And the game has got to be stopped here.
Yeah, he took a nasty whack there, did Lee Dixon. I think it was Danny Granville actually getting him on the back post from Petrescu's cross. It was a complete accident as Petrescu gets on the ball there from Dennis Bergkamp's mishap with the header. He tries to pick out Danny Granville on the back post, but Lee Dixon, that's a wonderful header from the defender. Actually, as you said, Martin, really paying the price for it. I think he's got a nasty bump there. My word, yeah, he did take one. That was very unfortunate.
He got the ball as Granville got him. And both players needing attention.
And credit to Roger Dilks as well, acting very, very quickly to stop the game with a collision of heads.
Is back on his feet. So Ruud Gullit, whose options are really limited now. If he was to lose another player, they've got Neil Clement, who's just played once in the first team, on the bench. The young striker Mark Nichols, who's only had a handful of first team outings. But still no place in Chelsea's 16 today for the former Arsenal favourite David Rocastle, whose time at Stamford Bridge has got a good while to go on his contract, but he's certainly out of favour in this part of London. Minto. Granville trying to get some shape to that left-hand side. Here's Vieira. Putting the ball away rather tamely, and you do feel that Arsenal, with the majority of their senior players available today, should be in good shape to take maximum points from this game. But just once or twice there have been moments of complacency, and Chelsea bristling with youthful eagerness to take advantage of that. They've got a free kick.
Yes, I think also, Martin, when you've got the likes of Vialli and Zola playing on your side, it only takes a flash of genius from one of those two guys to create something for Chelsea as well. But it does look a very difficult afternoon for them. Arsenal look very, very strong, physically a lot stronger than Chelsea, and it's been quite tough going for Chelsea.
Zola takes it. There's a certain amount of concern from Arsenal as to where is going to end up. A player who's already inflicted some pain on Glenn Hoddle, who's watching here today.
You never know with Zola, do you? Was that a shot? Was it a cross? No one knows. He's got such fantastic technique that it always ends up somewhere near the goal.
He learned so much from working Napoli with Maradona. Now here's Ian Wright in behind Clark. Platt's got a tap in the centre. 2-0 to Arsenal.
But that's one of the best work goals you'll see in the Premier League this year. The first touch of Dennis Bergkamp, Martin, is absolutely impeccable. He takes it inside. Ian Wright makes one of those diagonal runs yet again. It's just a straight ball, that's all he plays, but it's the run of Ian Wright. Fantastic. As soon as David Platt saw that run, he made his run. There he is, arms by his side. An easy tap-in for him, a beautifully worked goal for the Arsenal. Ian Wright doing exceptionally well.
Well, David Platt, of course, made his name doing this. We haven't seen him do it too often for Arsenal this season. He's had to play a more conservative game to fit into the club system. But there was a real amount of satisfaction for him then as he made the most of a gilt-edged opportunity, it had to be said. But he had to run there to get there, and he did just that. Vieira. On either side. Bergkamp looking to loop it over Grodos, which he did, but also over the bar.
It didn't surprise you he tried it either, did it? He'd seen Grodos come off his line, and I thought they'd have made a bit more of that. But here he is, Vieira doing exceptionally well, ball played to him. We've seen him off his line, but as you said, Martin, a bit too much pace on the ball over the top.
Minto looking for Vialli's run, so too with Bolt. Hughes. Burley stepping in. Kieran coming across but not clearing. Petrescu on for Vialli to try and fight for, make it drop Zola's way. When the game was played at Highbury before Zola came to Chelsea, of course, it was Chelsea who led 2-0 and then were scrambling to get a draw. Arsenal hoping that they won't be guilty of such loss of concentration. They have looked like the side with the greater firepower throughout.
They certainly have, Martin. They've also played, I think, with just that little bit more composure about them in possession of the ball. The front two, the mobility has been absolutely exceptional, and they've made it very tough for Chelsea this afternoon. But they have played with a bit more fire in their bellies, I think, than Chelsea.
Semi-finalitis, perhaps.
You never know. You never can tell. It does often happen, Martin. Yeah, we've seen so many sides where that has happened too.
Chelsea do play again, incidentally, in the Premiership before they take on Wimbledon next weekend. They've got a midweek match at Coventry. I think I'm right in saying is very important for Dennis Wise, who completes his suspension because of that fixture. The others banned today, just the one match. Here's Zola. When you want him to be at his magical best, as Chelsea do here, he couldn't produce.
It's a good passage of play from Chelsea, very good into passing their 1 and 2 touch, and Zola finding himself 22 yards out, as you said, Martin. He couldn't be too happy with himself there, I think, with that shot.
But you know, even when Arsenal have been winning titles, and they have been by far London's finest in that respect, they've often lost in those seasons here at Stamford Bridge. It's not been a good ground for them, but it's turning out to be a good ground today. But here's Burley, doing very well to get a drop on Remy Gard for a moment. Gard recovered. Burley taking the corner quickly. It's down to Chelsea's passion here and stomach for the battle. The odds against them. We've seen some topsy-turvy games this season. Granville. There's Zola. Hughes. Not able to take his time, but still not find Ian Wright. It's the other number 8, Andy Myers, who stepped in. And Ruud Gullit's second half substitutes. Here's Minto. Granville getting his cross in quickly. And in front of the Arsenal fans there, the throw is given their way. But if it is to be an Arsenal win today, well, Manchester United maybe going to this afternoon's game with Derby, with Europe a little bit more on their minds, given the semi-final of the European Cup first leg that is to come next week. Liverpool also at home this weekend to Coventry. does getting the ball to feet. Is there a runner in behind Arsenal here for the ball played through the centre? Vialli trying to be that player as well. It's an aspect of the game that Arsenal have got off to a finer art than Chelsea, and maybe that's because they're blessed with greater natural pace. Burley towards Vialli again, but skims off Steve Bold. Well, incredibly, only David Platt's second goal in the Premiership this season.
And that's what he's renowned for, Martin, breaking forward into those sort of areas, breaking through the middle of the box or the centre of the box and finishing off chances. He really is a first-class finisher of chances, David Platt.
Morris's pass. Bold got the better of the battle with Vialli. Hughes.
Been a good contest, Vialli Bold, Martin. Vialli's trying to pin him all the time, but Steve's not letting him touch him, and consequently Vialli doesn't know where he is, and Steve Bold's nicking in and winning most of the balls.
Vialli's got it now. Petrescu. Stood well to ease it beyond Platt for Myers. Taking on Vieira. Andy Myers still going and forcing it beyond Keown even. That took one or two of his Chelsea teammates by surprise. Myers, who can play in a number of positions, which is a very useful attribute these days. That's Platt's pass to right unselfishly. Could have gone on himself. Looks for Bergkamp. Now he might look for right. Brodos has come out to confront the Dutchman. Bergkamp, in the end, saw Platt making up the ground from midfield. Here's Winterburn. Chelsea trying to get some sort of shape back to their play. Vialli. He turns away theatrically. He's got his free kick. Roger Dux let Steve Bold walk away. Chelsea have taken the free kick as we look again at the incident. Petrescu's cross, and well, I was talking about Zola learning one or two things from Maradona. He certainly went in with his hand up there.
Yes, it was handball as well, Martin. Good spot. It was a great ball in from Petrescu. They're looking for a bit of inspiration at the moment, Chelsea. That they seem to have gone a little bit flat. I think Arsenal are dominating the game.
We were there in 1986. We should be able to spot it.
Yes, quite. I didn't spot it that day either.
Well, I got a clue. I was commentating, and Peter Shilton didn't chase referees very often, but he did on that occasion.
I wish he'd have chased Maradona.
Injury for Nigel Winterburn. The attention of Gary Lewin here. Scott Minto went in first. And then Petrescu. David Seaman, perhaps rather thoughtlessly, has kicked it into a part of the pitch which Nigel Winterburn would have filled had he been on the pitch, which he shortly will be again, but he wasn't a moment or two earlier. Myers. Chelsea just got to take a risk or two here and hope they can get a goal or two. Their home record has been so excellent. Just Wimbledon have won here in the Premiership this season.
Playing against a very, very experienced Arsenal side now, Martin, 2-0 up and looking very, very comfortable, it had to be said.
Minto. Well anticipated by Stephen Hughes. players might have been able to cash in on extra touches being taken, but look at this from Zola.
It was brilliant, Martin, wasn't it? It was a great ball actually from Craig Burley.
Morris. Now in a struggle with Keown, which was sorted out by Seaman. And then this will be the referee's involvement required as well. Frustrating for Vialli, desperate to play from the start, but knowing that it's not the first choice Chelsea lineup behind him.
Yeah, I think that's vitally important, but I also think on Gianluca's behalf, he's a little bit rusty as well, Martin. When you keep seeing your main opposition in Mark Hughes playing exceptionally well week in, week out, it must be a little bit disheartening for him. I think he's a little bit ring rusty for not taking part in the Premier League.
So now Morris, who's certainly learning from this experience.
He's done some very good things, Jody Morris. I don't think he'll be too disappointed with the way he's played. It's been very, very tough in there for him today, with Vieira snapping at his heels. David Platt's been working very hard.
It's similar to that game back in '74 when you were the Jody Morris of the day, and Arsenal won comfortably that day you were talking about when Alan Ball sat on the ball.
I certainly don't think I played as well as Jody has done today. I think I had a bit of a nightmare. Eddie Kelly was playing for the Arsenal that day and ran me ragged.
Morris and Minto and Burley looking like a man not prepared to accept defeat here. And Arsenal usually coming up with the answers as they did with Dixon, and the capacity to really kill Chelsea off on the break. Out comes Grodors, who recognised the threat very early and did very well.
He's done that on several occasions, Martin. He reads that situation very well. It's an excellent clearance because it's a good ball from David Platt.
Here's Granville.
Just getting back to Jody Morris, the thing I like about him, Martin, is the fact that, yes, he has given balls away, he has made lots of mistakes, but that he's kept wanting the ball all afternoon. That's vitally, vitally important for someone who's looking to make a big burst on the scene for Chelsea. He keeps wanting that ball, and that's important, because one day he's going to have 100% and he's going to look absolutely brilliant.
Yes. He was only 18 in December. He's been around a lot longer. A little bit of a mazy there from Martin Keown, and it ended with Arsenal getting a free kick and Keown taking a count.
Yeah, he did go on one here, didn't he? He does have a lot of pace, Martin. Riding a few tackles there, but not that one. It was Craig Burley.
Stephen Hughes has sneaked in here. Lovely run on the blind side of Burley.
What a pass again from Dennis Bergkamp. We saw him early. Stephen Hughes had his arm up, and there's that wonderful pass into his path, and Steve was unlucky there with that little cross shot.
You do feel not only that Arsenal have the stronger side available today, but their method of playing is particularly suited to away games. It's a Platt's mistake. Bit of overconfidence creeping in there, but Bold was able in the end to put up the barricades against Petrescu. It wasn't easy. And now it's Winterburn getting a bit sloppy. Zola. Morris. Burley. Chelsea not only battling with Arsenal, but a number of their international players with the fatigue from their efforts for their countries. Hughes, it's not a bad ball because Seaman had to stretch away to get it, but get it he did, and use it he did for Bergkamp. And Vieira sliding it into the channel for Ian Wright, who's got it up, but not quite down in time. It was an impish effort.
A brilliant effort, Martin, wasn't it? He scored one very similar against Leeds last year. And this, it's another great run, great pass from Vieira. Just gets his head up, sees where Grodors is. It's a great effort, very unfortunate.
a little jab at the ball. And Grodo's turned, worried. Oh, and he's worried again here because it's Stephen Hughes from the halfway line.
It was a good effort from Stephen Hughes there, Martin. He saw Grodas off his line from a long way out, but Bergkamp made a wonderful run for him. Here we see him pick the ball up. There goes Bergkamp. I think with Stephen's left foot, he could have threaded Dennis Bergkamp through there.
I think David Beckham has set the standards now for all these young players.
They're all having a bash, aren't they, now?
Yeah. Here's Platt. Only right in the centre for Arsenal, so they keep it short with Dixon. If only they'll be thinking they could have done better in those 3 home games, to lose to Manchester United, to Wimbledon and to Liverpool at Highbury in quick succession, that having been almost unbeatable at Arsenal's own ground for such a long time. And the crucial games came at home. They lost the Bergkamp, but their away record over that spell has been absolutely splendid. I think it's 4 wins and 2 draws in their last 6 games on their travels, and they're heading towards a 5th win in 7.
Yes, it's a bit of a fortress, Highbury, and those games, to lose such big games, even if they pick up a point out of them, Martin, they would have been laughing, but unfortunately they came a cropper in both. All 3, sorry.
Arsene Wenger was quick to say, well, we're not going to win the championship, but Arsenal have caught teams on the rails before.
The one thing he's got them doing, Martin, he's got them playing football. They really are playing some lovely football. They're interchanged, their movement's good, but they still haven't lost that competitive edge, which has always been that big thing with the Arsenal. And this fellow in midfield, well,
It must have been close again. Offside.
he's got to be one of the closest players I've seen to a complete midfield player, Vieira. He really is at first class, and he's 21 years of age, absolutely brilliant talent.
And Milan, your old club, had him and allowed Arsene Wenger to take him away.
Very much so, yes. And he had to pay some money for him for a 21-year-old, but £3.5 million. Having watched him play now and seen him play on a number of occasions, he really does look top class.
Well, a candidate for man of the match. It's your vote, of course. 0891 111101. Clark hammering it away off Winterburn. 2 nuggety characters there. Minter. Diallo through the centre. Granville to the Chelsea left. Others working to the right, but Minto taking too long. And it was Ian Wright working for Arsenal. Vieira. Now Bergkamp. Arsenal playing economically at times, but still looking capable of scoring again. And those early saves from David Seaman turning out to be very important for the destiny of the game, and also for Seaman personally to get some of the rustiness out of his system. Remember, he's missed 18 of Arsenal's matches this season with a variety of injuries.
It is all about big squads nowadays, Martin, in the Premier League, and but what you do wonder, if Dave's missed 18 games, if you take Peter Schmeichel out of the Manchester United side, and that is no disrespect to Van der Gaal, the second goalkeeper, but that would be a big blow for him.
Yes, and of course David James hasn't missed a game for Liverpool for over 3 years.
Well, that's a
so they've had great consistency in that position. Winterburn. Just feel at the moment that Arsenal's greatest enemy might be themselves. Might just get lulled into a false sense of security that just doesn't exist in the last 15 minutes of Premiership matches.
Somehow I can't see this Arsenal doing that, Martin. It's a fair point that you make, but they really are a very professional outfit, and I can't see them letting a 2-goal lead disappear.
Zola's header. Vieira. Minto going in. Chelsea still full of hustle and bustle, but not, I must say, at the moment, a great deal much else. It's a good interception, though, by Burley. Winterburn thought he was fouled. Roger Giggs lets the game go on. And here's Zola in behind Arsenal here. Odegaard is able to intervene and scrape it out of play. Winterburn still just having a word in passing with the referee. They want to get Scott Minto off to Chelsea. To bring on a striker in Mark Nichols. Change will be made now. Nichols has scored plenty of goals in the lower ranks at the club. Now they need some in the senior side from him.
Yeah, it's a tough task coming in against the Arsenal, Martin, but I've seen Nichols play on a couple of occasions. He's very bright and he's sharp, so they need a bit of inspiration. I think they're going 4-3-3 is intimating, isn't it?
He's only 19, Mark Nichols. So that's the 3 changes that Chelsea can make. And it's got Arsene Wenger into action from the Arsenal bench. Ray Parlour is limbering up with 15 minutes to go. Ian Wright got Arsenal going in the first half with the opening goal. In the early minutes of the second half, David Platt made it 2.
See, that's priceless. For any team that plays, that is priceless. When your forward players come back and challenge and win balls like that, like Ian Wright's done on the last 3 occasions. For a side seeing that, it gives so much inspiration out.
Right, still looking very perky on that far side with some immaculate control. A pass for Dixon. Here's Vialli. Morris. And there's a bit of room here for the new arrival Nichols. Granville. Much changed Chelsea. Not the side that you would expect to see take on Wimbledon next weekend. Early on Bergkamp. And it's Arsenal's free kick. And it will be Hughes who's going off, who's shown again the promise that he has.
Yeah, with Steve Hughes playing in that left side on the midfield section, they do have a nice balance here, Arsenal, with Nigel Winterburn, then comes Steve, and they do have some terrific left feet there. But he had a game in the week, he must be a little bit tired, and that's a good shout from Wenger, bringing on Ray Parlour, who's got energy to burn.
Guard. And Winterburn hasn't got energy to burn there to chase that one. That's experience for you.
That is experience. Stopped in his tracks immediately, Martin, knowing that he couldn't have called down on a 750 Honda, that one.
I've seen you driving in my locality, Ray, to know that that's not your mode of transport these days. Slightly more upmarket than that. Here's a free kick to Chelsea.
I haven't seen you jogging in our area at the moment, Martin. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yes, now I'm still doing it, but and so slow that you can't miss me, really. Here's Burley with the free kick. Headed out by Keogh. Nichols, nothing to the right for him. Morris. Seaman takes charge, and Arsenal needed him to do that then. Chelsea could get 1 goal. Suddenly this air of supremacy that Arsenal are really radiating at the moment might just be wiped away.
Yeah, they've gone to a flat back 4 now, Chelsea. Martin, Craig Burley on right back, Myers and Clark and Granville at left full back, and they're playing with a midfield 3 and 3 up the front, in the hope that they can claw something out of this, which is becoming very difficult for them.
Vieira. In goes Clark. And Bold just shaking his head. Vialli was concentrating on the man rather than the ball. Didn't want to suffer Steve Bold too much. Platt. Right. Here's Petrescu. Hughes did well there. Morris, Petrescu. Hughes again. Chelsea keeping the ball in a neat and tidy fashion, trying to be a bit more progressive with Vialli, and now Clark. Bergkamp gambled that it might drop over Myers and Burley. Bergkamp past Grodos, the goal is gaping, although Clark is trying to get back, and it's a hopeless task for him, it's a hopeless task for Chelsea. Bergkamp scores, Arsenal lead by 3 goals to 0.
He is a clever player, Martin. He knew there was no way that he was going to win the ball. He just gambled on the 2 players going from Andy Myers and Craig Burley, duly obliged, and you see them both go up for it, and he is so quick. Rodas not able to make his ground that time. And if you look for a player of just sheer class, this fella really does have class written all over him. Some of the things he does on a football field, the way he thinks about the game are quite exceptional, and the finish was no different.
Well, he's been involved in everything for Arsenal today, and Bergkamp takes his personal tally to the season to 13, but that doesn't take into account the other goals that he's been involved in.
Yeah, I'd love to know his assist record, Martin. His assists must be more than double his actual goal scoring.
Vialli. If it stays this way with a 3-goal margin, or indeed if Arsenal can improve it, they will go above Liverpool. Bergkamp, right. Bergkamp again.
My word, it looked like party time for those 2 there, didn't it? Some wonderful interchanging of passes.
I just wonder what one Dutchman standing in the Chelsea dugout thinks about a Dutchman who is leading this assault on Hullit's Chelsea, Dennis Bergkamp.
I'm sure the Dutchman standing in the dugout has got the utmost respect for the man on the field.
It's a bit of impeding there on Parler. It's an indirect free kick to Arsenal. Brian Mix, of course, who has his part in the Arsenal history, seeing his old club have the upper hand for so much today, and maybe more to come. And of course it's Bergkamp, and it's Vieira. Did it go over the line? Arsenal are claiming the goal, but it's not been given. Did Vieira go in perhaps with a hand raise? The referee tapping his hand to suggest that might have been the case.
I think that's what he's aiming, and it's that man Bergkamp once again. But look at the quality of this, how he digs this out from such a tight angle. And there's Vieira, very brave at the back post. It could have been a hand. It certainly didn't cross the line. Livingston Fields has had a good game in actual fact. I think we must give him a bit of credit there, and he's made a good decision there.
Yes, and as I said at the start, this is last season. He's reached retirement age, but experience is a commodity that you just can't purchase, and referees need it as much as players. And again, he's using his experience, because maybe a less worldly wise referee might have seen that as Ian Wright kicking the ball away.
Yeah, Ian's gesticulating that he couldn't hear the referee's whistle, and he's had a bit of banter with this. The crowd underneath us, Martin, all morning, so it continues.
today.
I think he will today. I do think the Arsenal thoroughly deserved it as well. They've played some wonderful football. It's been a delight to watch Wright and Bergkamp play up front. Some of the movement and the passing of the two of them has been first class.
It's been an intriguing mix of youth and quality on view today. A lot of players on the losing side will have benefited from the experience. Arsenal with the big hitters, if you like, and here's the biggest hitter of them all, and Bergkamp brilliantly cut back, and Winterburn has scooped a great chance wide.
Fella's having a dream of a match, Martin, isn't he, Bergkamp? What a pass. You know, he does everyone with his eyes. He cuts that back from an angle, which is so acute, it's a little bit embarrassing here. He's seen Nigel go on for the 1-2, and there it is. Cuts it back across his body, picks out Nigel, and unfortunately Nigel Winterburn couldn't stick it in.
Vieira is going off, Ian Wright is going off, and there's good reason for that, because it gives Nicolas Anelka, the 18-year-old, spotted in France by Arsène Wenger. He's had a few first-team games for Paris Saint-Germain. Clever manipulation of the Bosman ruling allowed Anelka to get out of his agreement in France to come and play in the Premiership. He's a powerful young forward.
He looks a fair size, Martin. This is the first time I've seen him.
And also welcome back to Ian Selly. More than 2 years after a broken leg, seemed to have really, well, almost ended his career. It was a very bad break, I think, against Leicester.
Yeah, it was an awful break, Martin, that. And it's so nice to see Ian get back. He's a terrific young bloke. We had him with the under-21s when I was working with Dave Sexton. What a nice fella. It's good to see him back involved.
Had a helping hand from Southend, where he spent some time on loan earlier this season. But comprehensive for Arsenal here with 5 minutes to go. Nichols. He got some reward for his efforts there. He's got a free kick which he's taken quickly. Morris. Oh, Vialli has a chance here. It's hit the post. Oh, and it's Vialli with his hand. I don't think the referee's given a goal kick rather than a free kick.
Yes, he has. He's given a goal kick, and Vialli definitely tried to use his hand, Martin. He actually gets onto the ball very well, and it's a good volley. Beats Dave all hands up, but bounced an unbelievable height for him, didn't it? And he just couldn't get his head to it. I think that just sums up poor old John Lucas after his morning.
Well, it's almost finished here. Wembley on Sunday. Leicester against Middlesbrough, the Coca-Cola Cup final. It's a really intriguing matchup. Join us on Sky Sports 3. We start at 1. Zola. He's thinking about Chelsea's record of scoring in home games. Looks as though Vialli had kept it going. But the last time they failed to score at Stamford Bridge, November 1995 against Tottenham. Well, it's the other half of the North London duo who shut them out. 3 minutes left for Chelsea to change that. And that's Selly well forward, and Anelka trying to make a sensational start. This way, the biggest defeat at home to Arsenal for Chelsea for almost 40 years. We stressed at the start, Ray, that there was a more senior look to the Arsenal selection, and that seniority has given them strength.
It certainly has, and it's lovely when the young blokes get on the field and they can play. But I think when you've got so many young fellas playing against so many experienced players, it becomes very, very difficult for them. And we've seen, especially in this second half, we've seen a very, very professional experience showing from the Arsenal side.
Nichols. Granville. Vialli.
Still pitching in there. That's a good ball in from Granville. Young Nichols does very well here. Holds the ball up, guard at his back. Ball comes in, and Vialli's found half a yard for himself. But I think the attention of Steve Bold there made him put it over the top. but he's kept plugging away, Vialli. It's not been a much of an enjoyable day for him, but he's kept plugging away.
Dixon leaving Nichols. Parler spotted the runner on the left, Winterburn. Not all the passes to him have been as accurate as that one. He was grateful for one to feet, especially this late in proceedings. Platt, and Arsenal can stroke it around again. And look at the curl on that from Parler. It invites Dixon to move on. Selly in the centre. Now Platt. Parler. What a fierce try.
He's a very positive player, Ray Parler, whether it be in his running or whether it be in his shooting, and he definitely had a real go there. And whether Grodas would have got to this if it had been on target, I don't know. My word, it didn't look too far away to me.
Well, the message from Stamford Bridge today to Manchester United and Liverpool is that, well, we have no room for any error because Arsenal are still in there fighting.
Yes, they certainly are, and in the second half they've played some wonderful football as well. The football quality has been first class.
Granville. Free kick to Chelsea. Petrescu joining Vialli. Not too many others there. There'll be a little stoppage here. I can tell you that Arsenal's remaining games, they've got Leicester, Blackburn and Newcastle to play at home, and they're away at Coventry and Derby. But the problem is, at home they've been struggling.
Yes, that's right, but with no disrespect to the teams that they've got to play, that it's not the hardest running that one of the top sides would have. And as we've seen today, they are capable of turning on the style, and they really have turned on the style in the second half.
Well, Chelsea, all their substitutes used. As indeed Arsenal have done now. Paul Hughes has to go off. Burley, that's straight at Seaman as we go into stoppage time. Ruud Gullit with the brow furrowed there. He needed some untried players to produce maybe ahead of their development today to stop Arsenal in their tracks, and they haven't been able to do that. And Zola's looked weary from his work with Italy. He pointed out the travels that Paul Petrescu has had to go through as well to play for Romania, been all over Europe for 2 internationals in the past week or so, and it's been an unhappy mix for Chelsea in the end. Roger Dilks checking the watch. Ray Parler looking for progress for Arsenal even at this very late stage. 3-0. Arsene Wenger's team goes second in the table, and let Liverpool and Manchester United know that they are still around. They keep themselves in close order in the Championship, and it's their away form that's doing it. And at this early hour, a rare win at Stamford Bridge. Only their second in 23 years in the league. Ian Wright got them going in the first half. And then, once more with Bergkamp's help, it was Wright who crossed for David Platt. Rolling back the years, really, that was the Platt of old. 2-0, and then Bergkamp with brilliant thought there to anticipate what would happen, and then to skip past Grodas for the goal that does take Arsenal above Liverpool. Chelsea had turned Stamford Bridge into a stronghold. Only Wimbledon had beaten them in the league here prior to today. Maybe a touch of semi-finalitis. Certainly they were hit by suspensions. But it's Arsenal who will enjoy their late lunch after this London derby. Winners by 3-0.
In a stroll as well, the Gunners then 3-0 winners here at Stamford Bridge. Don't forget the Carling man of the match. The lines remain open. Give us a call with your thoughts, and we'll make that presentation very shortly. Also be hearing from some of the central characters here today. 0891 111101 is the telephone number. 0891 111101. We'll also be hearing from Paul Merson and Dennis Wise when we come back to Stamford Bridge, where the Gunners have won today 3-0.
From Sky in May, a battle for survival.
Incoming torpedo!
Heineken Export was first introduced to Italy in 1933, where it's had a huge following ever since.
Perché le vacanze di Alfredo sono sempre così lunghe?
Smooth-tasting Heineken Export, the world's favorite import.
Because of the kind of work I do, and having clean, shiny hair is an absolute must for me. I'm a real fiddler when it comes to my hair. I push it behind my ears a lot. So if I've been working all day and I've fiddled with it a lot, I mean, that makes it dirty. I always wash my hair with Head & Shoulders dandruff shampoo every day.
pH balanced Head & Shoulders clears dandruff, and it's mild enough to use as often as you want.
It's very touchable hair. You want to feel it because it looks so sort of healthy and shiny. I keep it nice and clean so that I can fiddle with it afresh the next day.
What am I doing? I'm stuck in traffic. Changing gear, pushing the clutch, up and down. But now I'm using the new Easy driving system with a normal 5-speed gearbox, but no clutch pedal. And what's the only small car you can buy with the Easy system? The new Clio Zoom. Good thinking, Renault.
Nice underwear!
The HP Pavilion 7340p with Intel Pentium processor with MMX technology lets you scan your photos and do almost anything with them.
Gotcha. Give me back my diary.
No way, dork face.
Okay.
What'd you do?
I sent it to Mindy Adams.
The HP Pavilion PC is perfect for photo imaging. And with HP DeskJet printers, you get photo-quality color printouts every time. HP Pavilion Home PCs with Intel Pentium processor. It's not just a PC, it's an HP. Available now at PC World.
You're tuned to Ray on Reef Radio. Wishing farewell to my good buddy Franco, who's been lured away to the big city for a measly 100% pay raise. So it's goodbye to sleepy old Reef Harbor. No more days at the races. No more nights on the town. You're gonna miss popping out for seafood. And I know you'll miss the way they serve Bacardi around here. But if you gotta go.
In Sega Saturn Manx TT VisorCam mode, when you feel the tyres screech, you know you've hit the limit. Qualify for a superbike and complete the course at the highest level to get involved in something a bit alternative.
Half-time score. Twin Town. 1, 2, 3, 4 stars, says Empire.
An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and a dog for a dog, eh? Like a revenge type thing. Sort of Italian touch. They will be dead.
It can roll up its sleeves, spit in your eye, and fight its own battles. Twin Town in the West End and Wales, April 11.
With the Coca-Cola Cup final tomorrow, of course, and there's more live football on Sky Sports 2 tonight from the Spanish League, Oviedo against Atletico Madrid. That's this evening, 7 o'clock on Sky Sports 2. The fact that matters to Arsenal fans today is that their side have won at the Bridge by 3-0 to go second in the Premiership. 16 attempts on target with 5, scored with 3 of them. Not Chelsea's day. The one booking, Paul Hughes, very early on. First half action areas, look where the ball was for the most part, in that middle third. Second half. And again, Chelsea with 51% of the possession, beaten 3-0 though. Now then, the Carling man of the match. Where's it gone? Dennis Bergkamp amongst the goals today, 24%. Vieira, 30%. Ian Wright, any left for him? There is, 31% for Ian Wright, who got the first, 15% the rest between them. Let's go down to the tunnel and join Nick Collins.
Well, David, Ian, congratulations. How would you describe the importance of that victory, David?
I think it's essentially important. We've come here and beaten a side that, at the end of the day, got a game in hand on us, and if they'd have won today, they'd have gone quite close to us. It's important for us now to qualify for Europe, and that result's gone a long way to doing it.
Ian, second place in the league, very much a realistic possibility, even if first place perhaps isn't.
Yeah, we just got to win our games. That's all we're worried about, you know. At the moment, there's still a long way to go for me personally. I think there's still a lot of football to be played. Your light just went out. But like, there's still a lot of football to be played, and we're going to try and win all our games we can.
And the celebrations after your goal, what was that all about?
That was my Jamie Redknapp, that was.
It was what?
My Jamie Redknapp.
Why Jamie Redknapp?
Because he done it and I wanted to do it. I told him I'd do it. We was talking the other day. And I said I'd do the Redknapp. It's a good one. It's my new one.
David, 5 games to go. Are 5 wins a possibility, do you think?
Well, obviously they are. I mean, we go into every game, we look for the 3 points, we're looking to win games. I think we've shown today by coming here to Chelsea and winning the game so comprehensively what a difficult side we are to beat and what a good side we are. And we can win the games. I don't see any problem in it. We've got home games, we can win them, but we just have to wait and see.
Do you think that victory is going to ensure you're going to finish as London's top club?
Chelsea have still got a lot of games left. Wimbledon are in there with some games left as well. We can just concentrate on ourselves.
Let's bring Ian back in again now. 7 goals now to equal the all-time scoring record. Can you do it this season?
Nick, I don't know. I'm just trying to score in as many games as I can leading into the end of the season, because it's been really good for me this season. Coming off of last season, you know, it didn't go quite well. My form was bad, but this season it's been brilliant. You know, I've had a lot of chances made for me, and I've been fortunate enough to take a few of them, and it's going well. I just want to score as many as I can this season. If not this season, then hopefully I'll be playing next season. I could do it then, but you know, I just want to finish high as we can. Champions League would be great, but wherever we finish, I'll be more than happy with.
All right, Ian, listen, congratulations. You've been named the Carling man of the match. David, perhaps you present the champagne to him. Well played, the pair of you.
Hey, Rebecca. Gary's daughter, Rebecca.
What is he like? Uncontrollable. Ian Wright amongst the goal scorers here today. Paul Merson and Dennis Wise have been guesting with us here. Well, that was just exactly what you wanted, wasn't it? But 3-0 beforehand looked a long shot, didn't it?
Yeah, very much so. But Chelsea had a young team out, but every player in the Arsenal team was outstanding today, and especially Wright, who deserved the man of the match. But a great result. And
Dennis is off that fence. A little bit of semi-finalitis, Dennis, perhaps.
Maybe, yeah.
Let's have a look at the story of the game, which, as we know, was opened up by Arsenal first half, and they cruised on to shut the door during the second 45. But I think, to be fair, Paul, to Chelsea, there were chances first half that, with a little bit of rub of the green, may have changed things. Zola there, for instance, you were concerned about, weren't you?
Yeah, there, as I said at half-time, I'm surprised he didn't hit the target there and score, but you know, there weren't too many. There was a couple that Dave Seaman saved, but we had most of the chances, and I thought we won very comfortably in the end. As I said, like, they got a big game next Sunday, which, you know, is a big game. That's the chance that I was talking about there early. Yeah,
that was the one you wanted to see.
About an hour too late, but it's all right.
Quite sure why, but
isn't doing Jamie Redknapp many favours there, is he, really?
Zola creating some confusion from the free kick. And this, remember, at the time, still 1-0. But not too much seems to change, Dennis, does it, at Highbury? Personnel, but they're still hard to beat, aren't they? They grind results out.
They're strong at the back, strong in midfield, and strong up front, you know, and they're a powerful team. And we was always going to find it hard today because the players were missing. And as they showed a lot of quality today. In the end, they deserved to win.
The game seemed to, at one point, didn't it, for Chelsea? That was probably your best chance around there.
That's a favourite, isn't it? Yeah.
We know it went on to finish 3-0. Obviously, a technical problem with our machinery there, but no matter. Goals in the second half from David Platt and Dennis Bergkamp. And it's nice to see David Platt amongst the goals as well.
Yeah, very much so. He does a lot of hard work you know, a lot of unselfish work, and he keeps the midfield together. Since he's been back in the team, we have been outstanding away from home, and I'm pleased for David that he scored, because he's a nice bloke.
Let's get a quick word with the manager, Arsene Wenger. He's with Nick Collins.
Well, Arsene, congratulations. What pleased you most about that victory?
I think the organisation and the spirit, and of course we could always feel that we are dangerous with our 2 strikers up front, and especially I think collective performance.
You've picked up more points away from home now than anybody else in the Premiership. I mean, that must be very pleasing as well, isn't it?
Yes, but outlines also the fact that we are not so competitive at home as we should be, and I think we have some regrets today, because when you look at what we achieved away, and if we wouldn't have lost important games at home, I think we could have really played the title and win the championship. You said that the championship's beyond you, but second place presumably and a chance of the Champions League must still be very much on, isn't it? It's still a possibility, yes, but I think Man United is 6 points ahead and has 1 game in hand, and that's too much for the championship. But 5 games to go. If you could get 15 points, a maximum 15 points, would leave you on 75. You see, we'll first try to win the next one. We play now at home against Leicester, and after we'll see. Anyway, our target is to give what we can until the last minute of the championship, and be at the highest position we can. All right, Arsene, thanks very much. Well done.
3-0 winners here today. Arsenal will see the top half of the Carling Premiership in a moment, but down the bottom it reads like that, with some interesting games coming up this afternoon. Southampton and Forest, for instance, meet each other at the City Ground today. Everton go to Aston Villa. Derby County go to Manchester United. Sunderland go to Newcastle. Coventry go to Liverpool tomorrow. At White Hart Lane today, it's Spurs against Wimbledon. Spurs 10th right now. Then come Leeds, then it's the Dons, Sheffield Wednesday. Chelsea still in 6th place after that defeat today, of course. Villa 5th, Newcastle United 4. Liverpool and Arsenal change places. Arsenal up into 2nd place, 60 points each. They have played 2 more, also 2 more than the champions Manchester United. As I said, meet Derby County this afternoon at Old Trafford. They're still 3 clear. We haven't seen the other 2 goals yet. This was David Platt's contribution to the game this afternoon, created by Ian Wright. It's probably a little bit unkind, more than this, by way of contribution from David Platt, but this was his important contribution. I'm getting some stick here from these 2. There's no doubt about the fact that they were onside, was there? Twice. David Platt, as Martin said, really that was Platt of old, wasn't it? That's what we got used to seeing from him down there.
Yeah, that's right. That's what he's well known for. And it was a good finish, a very good finish. He finished it well, cool, and it was good vision by Wrighty to see him.
And what about the third? Dennis Bergkamp read the misunderstanding between the 2 central defenders, didn't he? And then
he done brilliant here.
Finished so well after
gone
that.
Up.
Look at that.
Yeah, he took it around the keeper. As he took it around the keeper, a lot of people would have hit it first time. He's even took another touch to compose himself. He's a world-class player, as Ray Wilkins said.
Only 3-0 was going to take Arsenal 2nd today, and they've done that. So come on, Dennis, you've got another game Wednesday night at Coventry, then the semi-final next Sunday. Wednesday, presumably, you're going to have to be at it a little more sharp than you were today.
We'll have a few players back Wednesday, which will be very good for us, and we need to get a good result before the semi-finals to get it